and welcome to AleksTabletops Sandbox MTG Study session 64. My name is Alex, and let's continue our study session of Magic the Gathering. Yes, let's just continue to study Magic the Gathering. So this is hectic day, and the previous 3 days, starting from probably Sunday, was crazy because again I lost my creative recording. I tried to recover it all this time and a bunch of other stuff that I had to do, so basically I didn't sleep at all. I'm tired, I want to sleep, but either way, I started the stream pretty late, super late, so I don't know how long this stream is going to be. It's definitely not going to be super long. I think I will go through probably half an hour of study Magic Sets unglued, or no. So yeah, let's just dive into things and we'll think. So yeah, again today we're going to study on sets. We'll continue to study on sets. Previously we finished studying on unglued, and today we will start to study Unhinged. So Unhinged has 141 cards. It's not that easy thing to do. Yeah, in freaking last minute I created this simple interface, these things, these borders, information about new followers and etc. So basically everything in here was created in less probably 20 minutes. So that's why I kind of super late, completely forget to create these things. And also, what we need to do, we need to add additional text. Oh, damn it, I completely forgot to add additional text. Let's do this right away. Let's just duplicate last follower thing. Okay, yes, let's duplicate last follower thing. Or no, let's just create a new one. Sorry if it's going to look super bad, but I kind of forget to add this thing, and we definitely need to so text, let's call it just text, MTG text. Okay, let's write MTG unstable. Unhinged. Unhinged. Yes, MTG unhinged. Okay, works. Now let's change the font to my font, to AleksTabletops font. Let's just find what font is going to work the best. Probably we're going to use regular or bold. Let's just try bold, see how bold looks. Yeah, it kind of works. And of course we need to change the size for the font. Probably 14 or 16 is going to be more than enough. Relatively small, but I think it's enough. I will keep it the same color, although we probably should make it less visible, not that super white. Well, let's just make it slightly smaller in color. Okay, this is crazy. And now let's just move it. In here, edit transform, and let's just with slight movement put it in here. Sorry, make it if I'm doing this now. Just didn't have enough time to do that, unfortunately. So definitely too big. Need to make it smaller. So probably 10 or even 11 maybe will work. Let's just go with 12 first. Yeah, 12 works. Let's put it in here. Put it slightly down to try to put it in one line. Let's hope this is it. Set. MTG Unhinged set. Let's Unhinged put in brackets or quotes. It kind of works. Maybe need to put it a little bit higher. Let's try. Yeah, try this. No, too high. Too high. Let's bring it back. I wish there was a possibility to make something in between. We actually could. Okay, this is in between. Awesome, works. So MTG Unhinged set. Good. So now everything is ready. Now, yes, new follower information. Yes, everything works, and that's it. Let's just lock this layer and continue. Whew, so it took me 5 minutes. Sorry about that. So yes, we will continue to study unsets, and we will continue with unglued. Oh damn it! And my voice just basically gave up. This is super cool. And that's one of the reasons why I'm probably not going to study these unsets too long, and we're just going to dive into the magic duels and play magic duels, I guess. But I will do everything in my power to cover at least a couple of cards, and at least start to do all these things about cards. So yeah, the first card that we're going to study in Unhinged is Hans Run. What? Hans Run. Sorry about that. So this is enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may say this phrase and name a creature card. If you do, search your library for the named card, put it in play, then shuffle your library. That creature has haste, remove it from the game at the end of turn. Okay, so we're not going to add this one in our intellectual map because for the most part it's kind of the same. As you remember, we already had something similar. So basically there is two types of card combinations: card interactions, when cards so it all comes down to action, like out of the game action that combines with the in-game action. So for the most part, the things that I'm going to think about is how to combine these two elements. So in-game action and out of the game action. Again, for this particular ability, we have out of the game action, which forces the player, or you in particular, to say a specific phrase, then name a creature card, which is kind of pretty close to an in-game triggering. So you, by out of the game action, you trigger a in-game thing with the creature card, and then you're searching library for named card, put it in play. Basically just a lot of combinations. So yeah, I don't think that we need to put it in a separate category or something like this. Again, for the most part, we have something. So we have things that work with naming a particular card, and this card, for instance, can be played by a player. You can search this card in your library. So these are just all specifications. We don't need to think about them. The only thing that we need to understand is the overall picture, the big picture. Continue. Damn it. Sorry about it. Oh, yeah, Mom. No, I'm not feeling well. Okay, creature, shapeshifter. This card's name becomes the name of your choice. Play this ability anytime, anywhere. This is strange. So you can change the name for the card. This is actually pretty interesting. let's put this one. I kind of like how it works, because this is definitely out of the game thing, but it kind of involves a game. It could be actually part of the game, so let's put it somewhere in here and at the end. All players play with their hands face. Yes, let's just duplicate it. Oh. Duplicate, copy paste. You have the ability to change the card's name. Of your choice. You have the ability to change the card's name. To whatever you want. But it's not that easy. It's not that like just clear. It works only in particular situations. So you have the ability to change the card's name to whatever you want. And no, you gotta be kidding me. Play this ability anywhere, anytime. Works with cards, or no, works with actions. With rules that involve targeting of the specific cards. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. So for the most part, this one kind of answers all our questions, so we don't have to add something that works with the targeting name, because again, works with the rules that involve targeting of the specific cards. Cards with a specific card name. Targeting of this works with rules that involve targeting of the specific card name. Yeah, so basically if someone targets you, and if you right away change the name for your card, and that way you can basically cancel the spell that casts on your creatures by renaming them. And it's not going to be only creatures, it could be artifacts and etc. So actually it's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting ability to create your own names, and that could be random names, it could be names that you want. So like these names could be beneficial for you. This can be used is a survival. As a survival. I don't want to say mechanism, let's go with mechanic. Yes, this can be used as a survival mechanic and as evolving mechanic. Evolving, no, evolutionary, or as the mechanic of evolution. Okay, the wrong spelling. So what I mean by evolution, again, it all involves buffs, all types of buffs, just making creatures bigger and etc. So, and survival mechanics is just to basically prevent damage, prevent attacks. What the heck? What? I completely forget how attack is actually called. Oh, CK, such thing, CK. Yeah, my brain is going to work pretty slow, so. And double T. Attack. So prevent attack, and as the mechanic of evolution, some type of buffs and just basically boosters. Okay, good, safe. What else? What else? You have the ability to change the card's name to whatever you want. Play this ability anywhere, anytime. Works with rules that involve targeting of the of a specific card. Targeting of a specific card name. Yeah, let's just leave it at this. Hey, by the way, completely forget, this is actually in Unglued. Yep, or in Unhinged. We need to separate them. Kinda. Yeah, so this is our first ability for Unhinged. Again, I'm going to group them together a little bit later. So for now, they're going to be present in here as a separate sets mechanics. And also, I'm kind of interested in how many mechanics we could like find, like actual new mechanics from this new set. Okay, pretty interesting. Aesthetics construction. Consultation. Pretty funny. Instant. Name an artist. Remove the top 6 card of your library from the game, and then reveal card from the top of your library until you reveal a card by the named artist. Put that card in your hand, then remove all the other cards revealed this way from the game. Okay, this is a pretty complex thing, and it's pretty hard to generalize it somehow, some way that is going to work. So instead, we're not going to generalize it at all. So again, it involves targeting name, naming the particular name, or etc. I think there's a lot of abilities and Unhinged is going to involve targeting a specific card name. You can play with names in the card designs, cards texts. You can play with names in the cards texts. You can play with names in the card's text by targeting you can play with names. Play with, it means name, just basically name. With names in the card's text by targeting cards with the same name and taking a certain in-game action. You can play name with names in the card's text by targeting cards with the same name and taking a certain in-game action / actions, could be a plural, to to your benefit or to the opponent's loss. Opponents okay, forget that in here copying slightly different than what I get used to in the regular. Yeah, so the difference in here, you name an artist. Text named text could be anything with a specific named text could be anything with a specific I don't know area of the card's text. So again, it could name the name an artist, creature, flavor text, flavor text, ability, mechanic, etc. So endless possibilities. continue. Ambiguity. Whenever a player plays a spell that counters a spell that has been played, or a player plays a spell that comes into play with counters, that player may counter the next spell played or put an additional counter on a permanent that has already been played but not Mambo jumbo, this is crazy. Witcher cuckoo. So this is actually crazy. So this is pretty confusing. So like, we're not going to add this because, again, if certain conditions are met, you can perform a specific in-game or out-of-the-game action. We already have something similar on the top. So basically it's just a sequence of elements. So as you see, there's a lot of sequences. So whenever a player plays a spell that counters a spell that has been played, so if this type of spell is already played and player casts a spell that counters, wait a minute, whenever a player plays a spell that counters a spell that has been played. Okay, so if we're going to play one creature that's already been countered, instead of being countered, that player may counter the next spell played or put an additional counter on a permanent that has already been played but not countered. Yeah, so this is actually basically right here to confuse us a little bit. It's actually right here to confuse us. It's kind of a little bit confusing ability, but all in all, again, I'm not going to dive into its own complexity because it's kind of there's no point to do that. I kind of understand how it works for the most part. Again, it's just a sequence of things, so you need to meet a specific conditions, and if you meet the specific conditions, you either will get additional perks, or you will lose something, or you will get something in return. By the way, like, we could add something that works with sequence and work with in return. So yeah, let's just add one pretty interesting ability that I'm kind of have in mind right now, is the ability to work with exchange. You have the ability to exchange I already forgot what I said. In return, yes, in return, you have the ability to exchange completely wrong word. Returned. Get in return. You have the ability to exchange get in return certain what the you have the ability to exchange get in return certain perk if specific conditions are met. Well, not just specific conditions, but if a specific sequence of conditions are met, or if a specific conditions sequence. Now I need to find a way to properly phrase it. You have the ability to exchange, get, and return certain perks if a specific sequence of specific conditions are met. Yes. If the sequence of specific conditions are met. Works. Again, triggered by card, play, tap, activate ability, etc. But for the most part, it reads in text. Just basically follow the rules, or try to meet these conditions. Or avoid them in case these conditions are going to hurt. Okay, we can already halfway through, almost. The problem is we have a lot of like quests to go through in Magic, like 3 quests, and I don't know what these quests are. So ideally we kind of have to go into the Magic duels in order to get the ability to learn a lot of things, whatever. So Artful Looter. So creature, human wizard, draw a card, then discard a card. Again, these type of abilities we will definitely put a little bit later. So again, you paying something in order, or you gaining something, and then you were paying something for that. So again, you're drawing a card, and then you were basically discarding a card. Whenever a permanent comes into play that shares an artist with another permanent you control, untap it, discard. Again, the things that work with card names and triggers a specific card, like artistic names and etc. So I think the whole thing about this set is going to work with an art, with the text triggered abilities, which I'm kind of good with. I'm not against it, not in any way. So yeah, we're not going to put it. It's kind of pretty simple. Destroy target silver bordered permanent in any game you can see from your seat. Silver bordered. Wait a minute. Destroy target silver bordered permanent in any game you can see from your seat. You gotta be kidding me. This is pretty interesting card. Like, it creates the ability to involve into the other's player's game, which is pretty interesting. Like, but when we have the ability to do that, any game you can see from your seat. So it works in tournaments when a lot of people are playing and you can do this, but how it could apply to the other game, which kind of makes no sense, because people could play it in actual vintage or something like this, or modern, and then you basically playing with unsets and using this card to destroy. I don't know, this is strange. It's pretty fun. Oh no, it doesn't work like this because it needs to destroy silver bordered permanent, and for the most part silver bordered permanents are in unsets, so yeah. I don't know how we could put it in category. I don't think that we will. Destroy target silver bordered permanent in any game you can see from your seat. Let's add this. You have the ability to act, to perform in-game actions outside of your game. That's kind of it. You have the ability to perform in-game actions outside of your game on other games around. So for instance, if we have a lot of players playing, it will definitely allow us to do that. And for instance, there's a group of players like with playing 3-3, and we could do this. You have the ability to perform in-game actions outside of your game on other games around. As long as that game is the same format or has the same cards. This is kind of important thing. Yeah, I think this is pretty good generalization. You have the ability to perform in-game actions outside of the game on other games around. I don't like the on other games around. Perform to perform in-game actions outside of the game. Now let's keep it on other games around. On other games in your line of sight. I don't think that this is right. Let's just check it out. Поле. В поле зрения. In sight. In your line of sight. Well, let's just keep in your line of sight. On other games in your line of sight, as long as that game only one. Let's go. As long as that game is the same format or has the same card. Yeah, something like this will work. kinda works. Okay then, so the next one is whenever another donkey comes into play, untap target creature and gain control of it until end of turn. That creature gains haste until end of the turn. That's kind of it. Nothing super crazy about this one. Whenever another donkey comes into play, untap target. So basically, every time the creature comes into play, it triggers a specific ability. It's pretty regular thing. Gain control of it. So a lot of in-game actions. Okay, we already stumbled upon this card in the end of the previous session. It's actually a completely different creature type. It's called Untitled. So I don't know what to do with this one. It's just a jumbo wumbo. I want to sleep. I want to sleep. I'm yawing. Eneverun way itanlai igpais huntrale kraslak laiklu expai I anai igpai atinlai arluai artificai atinlai. I think I don't know, it actually, I think it works either with anagrams or with something that could replace something. So for instance, we could have something in the creature's name that we could just basically replace by a specific pattern, and that way we will understand what this card is doing. First tray. Strike. Double strike. So yeah, this creature has double strike apparently. Oh, this is its name. It works with the more igpies you control, it adds something. Sacrifice, and then you need to sacrifice this card. So yeah, you actually, if you try to think how you could decipher it, you actually can. So a couple of words kind of comes into play. This is definitely double strike, and this is definitely, we need to sacrifice this igpie if something is not going to meet a specific thing. So anytime or every time or anywhere or controlled and I don't know. Actually don't know. So let's just give it. The only thing that I could put in here, we have the ability. For now, I'm going to stick to this one. My brain doesn't work on different starters. So you have the ability to change we already have this, by the way. The ability to change the card's name to whatever you want. So let's put that we could cipher the card. For instance, like this. Cipher the card to be unreadable for player, which is pretty interesting. Or decipher, or the opposite. Decipher card. Which could be pretty interesting ability. So we will go probably another 10 minutes or so, and then we will definitely switch to Magic Duels, because again we need to go through a lot of things, and I also want to go to sleep. I need to stop yawning. Snoop. Bam bam. Avatar of me costs 1 more to play for each 10 yards you've been alive. Or years, come on. You've been alive. This is pretty interesting. Based on your age. Avatar of me power is equal to your height in feet, and its toughness is equal to your American shoe size. Round to the nearest 1.5, and Avatar of me's color is the color of your eyes. This is crazy. So we already have something that works based on our appearance, but this is a completely different thing. You have the ability to change cards' abilities or status. By status, I'm going to think about attack, defense, nope, this is definitely not it. Defense. So attack, defense, color. What? Based on, you have the ability to change card status based on your status, age, look, height, wrong, age, look, height, color of eyes or eye color, kind of works. You have the ability to change card status, attack, defense, color, ability based on your status, edge, look, age, look, height, and eye color, and etc. This is actually pretty interesting. We didn't have anything like this before. We had something that worked with appearance, but it worked a little bit differently. Right now we're actually changing a card status completely. It just became a completely different card. Avatar of me. Okay, instant AWOL. AWOL. Remove target. Come on. I'm tired of yelling. I definitely want to sleep. My body tells me you have to go to sleep, man. Remove target attacking creature from the game, then remove it from the removed from the game zone and put it into absolutely removed from the freaking game forever zone. Oh, this is pretty cool. Oh, this is awesome card. So first you will remove attacking creature from the game in the exile zone. Then you remove it from this exile zone to the exile zone, and then you will absolutely remove it from the exile zone to the exile zone, to make sure that no one ever is going to bring this creature back, because there's no cards that could work with these zones. So basically this card already represents something familiar that we already had before. It works with changing the rules for the cards. So we can change the rules of the game by a specific card, and this card doing this. So it removes card from the game and then removes it further for the others to not reach them back, and something like this. This is pretty fun. Donkey Zombie. Pretty cool art though. Pretty interesting style. Badass. Creature Donkey Zombie. What is this? 3, 1, 2. Oh yeah, forget it. Growl. Regenerate Badass. So basically, you need to pay 2. You need to growl. Regenerate Badass. Again, nothing special about this one. Just, again, combination of actions, in-game and out-of-the-game actions. The only thing that kind of freaks me out is this thing. I don't know how we could work with this and how we could properly deal damage. It's just 3.5, and if we're going to attack and deal 3.5 damage, no, it's going to be super strange. This is pretty horrible creature, Hound. Bingo! So, Trample. Whenever a player plays a spell, put a chip counter on its converted mana cost. Bingo gets +9/+9 for each set of 3 numbers in a row with chip counters on them. Our player plays a spell. Pretty interesting. So you have the ability to add rules from popularized games into your own game by shifting so you have the ability to add rules from popularized games into your own game, to your own game, into your own game. The way that will fit organically. I think it could work. Yeah, definitely will work. I can like how it works. So again, you have the ability to add rules from popularized games. We could put something like bingo. Poker. Whatever. So like roulette. Of some kind, poker, etc. Bingo poker into your own game the way that will fit organically. Works fine. Boom. We actually added a lot of things. So yeah, I guess on that note we're probably going to finish studying. So the last card that we're going to end up with is the Blast from the Past. Madness Cycling, Kicker, Flashback, Buyback. Okay, yeah, this is definitely going to be the card that we're going to leave it because it seems kind of complex. So yeah, on that note, we'll just go right away into the Magic Duels, and the remainder of the session we will continue to work with Magic, but now we will work with play study, because again, my brain kind of doesn't work that well, so I think we'll go into play study. So let's just change everything, prepare everything, close what we don't need. And launch Magic Duels. And also we don't have to forget that probably in half an hour we need to relaunch Magic in order to get a third quest. So right now there's going to be only 2. Perhaps, we'll see. By the way, bought a couple of games in winter sale that I definitely will stream on 3 days. So like there's going to be Monday and Thursday, and these 2 days are usually going to be somewhat free. So I'm not going to study anything, I'm just going to relax and play the games that I would want to play. So, and I think these games that I bought definitely going to be the ones. But for now I'm not going to talk about them.